We're back! Round 2! Top 5 records. This time for the month of September. We're in September. Excited to show you what I found, what I got. Also, thank you so much for watching my videos. This has been really awesome. I was not expecting more than 10 people to care, and I've gotten a few more than that, so really happy with how things are going. I'll point out, these sort of occurring videos once a month where I talk about myself and my records, this is not the main intent of this channel. I will spare you my lengthy dialogue about my records and what I like, because I'm primarily going to be talking about and interviewing the record store owners as I have been. However, I do go to these record stores, and when I go to these record stores, you can imagine, I pick up some records. So I'm going to talk about a few of those, I'm going to talk about some other things that I've been listening to, and let's get into it. So why don't we start off with, we'll do this one. Start off with a reissue. Start off with a nice reissue, right? An accessible, every man's reissue. We have Dream Sequence, Cosmic Eye. I can't believe I haven't heard of this record until recently. How this has just like evaded me all this time is truly like, I just don't understand it. It's so good. Everything about this record is good. I mean, the artwork is good, the sound is good. It's like everything that I love in music all packaged into one thing. It's basically like a sort of spiritual jazz, psychedelic, sort of library, a little bit of groove, little sort of Indian classical sort of moment happening in here. All sorts of really weird stuff, Indo-JAZZ for sure. Basically what it is this guy, his name is Amancio Silva, a sort of jazz guitarist. I think he's Goan-born. He moved to England. This was in the 70s. Movie. Yeah, 1972 on the Regal Zonophone label, subsidiary of EMI. Amancio Silva, Goan-born, moved to England, jazz guitarist, definitely more sort of like Indian classical trained musician as well. Decided to sort of just basically pop into a studio with a crew of session musicians and just like create this one-off masterpiece, essentially, that no one knew they wanted and no one thought it was gonna happen. I mean, like, it just completely came out of nowhere, essentially, which is the insane thing about this record. And yeah, it's basically just like this fusion of sort of like Indo-JAZZ meets sort of library, psychedelic, studio trickery, thanks to primarily the producer, whose name is Dennis Preston. Basically, Amancio sort of fronted the band, got these session musicians together, went into the studio, and then Dennis Preston did his work over their sort of like jamming and their improvisation. And it's sort of broken up into two sequences, hence the name Dream Sequence. Sequence 1, Sequence 2, and they are both just like this free-flowing sort of sound of just like anchored in Indian instrumentation, classical Indian instrumentation, so a lot of tablas, sitars, that kind of thing, and then like punctuated with a little bit of sort of like free jazz-leaning saxophone, some really beautiful flute, and then of course Amancio da Silva's guitar playing, which was very reminiscent of like a Gabor Szabo, essentially. That's what I hear when I hear it. And these pieces are just like, they ebb and flow, they sort of arc, they dip, and they sort of go in and out, and they're just like these long drawn out beautiful pieces of music. And then yeah, Dennis Preston's sort of just like weird sort of psychedelic sort of studio like trickery and effects just like bring it all together and make it this really special album. So this is already, I mean, I'm telling you right now, I found out about this maybe less than a month ago, and I gotta say, this is probably gonna be one of my favorite records of all time. So very much looking for an original. If anyone knows where I can get one that isn't the same price as a dark web sort of like organ transplant, I'd be happy to buy it from you. If you know where I can get one. Otherwise, I'll be sitting tight with this reissue for a while. Another pretty amazing album cover, if I may say so myself. Not that I made it, but another favorite. A lot of good album covers, a lot of good artwork I'm showing you in this top 5 this time around. We have Enrico Rava's Katcharpari, on the BASF label. I think BASF is it was a German label. They did like a small run of interesting sort of like European jazz records in the 70s. This is Enrico Rava's first record, I believe. Enrico Rava's an Italian trumpet player. He definitely sort of helped bring about a little bit of the free jazz movement into Europe, I believe. At least that's what he claims in this album sort of bio. So there's a little bit of free-leaning sort of jazz in here, but there's also a heavy dose of sort of like jazz fusion. There's some psychedelic moments that are happening. There's a bit of a groove. I mean, the main pull to me for this record was track 1, track 2, Bunny's Pie, and then how that then moves into trial number 5, the second track. Basically, side 1 is just where it's at for me with this record. It starts off sort of like really sort of slightly, meditative, slow, bit of sort of like a psychedelic sort of sound, and then it just like pushes straight into this like pulsating sort of hi-hat with these sort of trumpet, flourishes from Rava, and then to really sort of bring it all together is John Abercrombie, who plays guitar on this record. He just like right out the gate just fucking tears it apart. Insane, beautiful guitar work from John Rava, like this like fuzz, like part fuzz pedal, sort of fuzz guitar, and it's just so good. And the energy is like, it's the momentum and the energy of that track is just incredible. It reminds me of Nation Time a little bit. Just like the sheer energy, the pulsation, sort of the movement of that track. It's incredible, truly. And honestly, it was a pretty amazing surprise to see John Abercrombie on this record. I love John Abercrombie and like his work that he did later on with ECM, that label. And so just seeing him on here made me want to get this record even more. Worth getting. Again, love the album cover alone. And well worth a listen. There are parts of it that are a little too sort of like trying to be Miles Davis. I'm not the biggest fan of jazz trumpet, I'll be honest. That sounds crazy to say out loud, but I'm just not. But this is amazing. And again, I think it's because it has a bit more of that sort of psychedelic experimentation, and a bit of that guitar work from John Abercrombie really seals the deal for me. Number three. Do you know what it is? Number 3. So when I went to Warbler Records and I did that interview, as you know, we got to talking about one of my favorite records, which is this, Dreamies, Oral Graphic Entertainment by Bill Holt. And apparently, Kurt was telling me they just reissued this again. And I saw it in this shop last time I went there, because that's my local store. But yeah, I know Kurt is a really big fan of this too. A massive fan of this record, and there's no surprise as to why. Any fan of weirdo, oddball, psychedelic leaning music will likely have heard of this record or will enjoy this record. 1973, came out of Claymont, Delaware. I think that's the craziest part for me about this record. It came out of Delaware. And I used to live in Philadelphia for like 15 years. I know Delaware pretty well. It is so hard to imagine that in 1973, this dude was making this record. It's just bananas. But yeah, this is basically, it's broken up, similar in a sense to Dream Sequence, Cosmic Eye. It's broken up into sort of 2 moments, Program 10 and Program 11. And it kind of sounds like a program. Essentially what this is just like a collage of sort of recorded sort of news events and sounds of the day, and tape effects and tape loops sort of repeated over, and then on top of that, and spliced together, and then on top of that is Bill Holt's sort of like eerie, sort of Beach Boys-esque melodic vocal melodies and this sort of like spiraling sort of melody on these modular synths. It honestly, what it sounds like is someone falling deeper and deeper into insanity. I mean, that's what it sounds like. And the actual sound itself reminds me so much of the Beach Boys. It's like Brian Wilson, but Brian Wilson in a demented state, like took way too much ayahuasca, you know what I mean? And like came out the other side in a not great way. That's what this record is. So amazing, right? And yeah, it just sounds demented, but it's beautiful. I mean, it's incredible. It's like, and just throughout, I mean, such an engaging listen. I could listen to this every day, which maybe says too much about me. Why am I listening to this weird ass music? But it is really amazing, and it's definitely worth checking out. And there's a great reissue out, which is worth everyone's time. Did I tell you when this came out? Yeah, I did. 1973. The label is Stone Theater. This is the label. I just realized I didn't show you the label of Enrico Rava. I'm gonna do that in a second. And a nice little thing about this, it came with this cool little insert. I don't know if the reissue comes with this too, but fun little insert. Tells you a bit of information. I don't know, stuff like that. It's cool. There it is.
It's just that sunny morning song, flashing my eyes for all to see. Sunny morning song.
I have to say, this month I've been really into a lot of the sort of jazz psych stuff, and I've been really into a lot of Brazilian stuff. And so I picked out two big ones, big Brazil records for me, that one I've had in the collection a little while, and one that is more of a recent acquisition, and both of which are just like definitely part of my all-time favorite records. So regardless of the month, these are just like some of the best records I own. So number 4, we have Flaviola. I should preface, I don't speak Portuguese. I'm sorry, I wish I did, because it's the most beautiful language, I think, on planet Earth, but I don't. And so I'm gonna butcher this and how it sounds. So apologies ahead of time to all my Brazilian listeners, if there are any. Hopefully there are, because I love you guys, I do. It's called Flaviola e o Bando do Sol. Some of you might recognize this album. I know Mr. Bongo did a reissue of this. This album came out in 1970. Oh, look who's back. Look who's back. Hello, Como. Flaviola, oh God. Me speaking Portuguese is just such a sad thing. Okay, we have Flaviola e o Bando do Sol. Came out in 1976 on the Solar label. This album is really special. It's just sort of Brazilian psychedelia at its finest. There are so many amazing Brazilian records. I could dedicate my entire collection to just collecting Brazilian records, to be honest with you. It's one of my favorites. But this is like a standout album, 100%. And I think, for me, one of the main reasons why I love this album so much is the contribution from Lula Cortez, who I think composed all these songs. At least that's what it says online when I checked it out. And Lula Cortez, if you're not aware, he is the sort of brainchild behind this album. This is a reissue, I apologize, but he's behind this album, Satwa, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, hands down. Just like beautiful, melodic, melancholic, sort of haunting, acoustic, psychedelic guitar, essentially. And like that is very much a prevalent part of this entire album. But this album is the brainchild of, what's his name? Flavio Tadao Rangel Lira? That guy. And it's just incredible. It's like acoustic psych embellished with tribal drums, a little bit of sort of spiritual leaning jazz flute. And then again, it's just like that guitar, that acoustic sort of haunting, melodic, melancholic, sort of like psych guitar, and you know, when you hear it, you know that it's Lula Cortez. He has such a distinct sound and way of playing. Whenever you hear him on a record, it's just like, oh my God, I fucking love this record. And I wish I knew a bit more about what's his name, Flavio. I know he was a pretty prominent figure in Brazil in the early 70s, part of the psychedelic sort of folk movement. And he was also involved with some sort of like psychedelic sort of music festivals and multimedia sort of production company or something, or he like put together something. I don't really know enough, I should know. But I buy these records not really knowing a whole lot, honestly. I just like love the music, so I'm kind of learning as I do these videos with you guys. It came with this pretty awesome insert, I think. Yeah, that's right, he's a visual artist as well, so I'm assuming this is sort of part of this is his work. This awesome, weird sort of insert, just like so beautiful. I love the little sort of like logo too. It's just so cool with all the sort of lyrics on the inside. But yeah, it's amazing to think that these things sort of just like last. You know, this is from 1976 and it looks so good, you know? It's you're holding a piece of history. Last record of the month and last Brazilian record to talk through. This one's a pretty big deal for me. This would be, you know, this is up there. And maybe not all of you know it. I don't know. I know it's pretty well liked. However, the craziest thing about this record... Wait, did I show you the label? I didn't even show you the label of Flaviola do. Check out the label on Flaviola Io Bando do Sol. I don't know, whatever. Flaviola, yeah. Check out this label. I mean, that is a beautiful label, if I may say so. One of my favorites. And I don't particularly care about labels all that much, but this is a good one. All right, last one. It's a big one. For me, it's a big one. Carlos Walker. So this album just deserves so much more credit and so much more attention. And I think part of the reason why it hasn't received all that much attention is just due to the plain and simple fact that it just hasn't been reissued yet, at least not on vinyl. There was a Japanese sort of CD reissue of this, I think in 2023. But how this hasn't been repressed is just, it's like a crime. It's a crime against humanity. That's what it is. This is one of the greatest Brazilian records ever made. Like, just, that is what this is. It sounds so much to me. I mean, it's basically just like MPB distilled down to its purest form. It's like everything you love about Brazilian music, this rich orchestral sort of composition, super dynamic, super intricate and interesting and like engaging. To me, it really does sound, I mean, it's very cinematic in sound. It reminds me a lot of this album, another favorite of mine, Harton Salvanini, SP73. It reminds me a lot of this record, very cinematic. It almost sounds like a soundtrack. However, this is a bit darker leaning, I'd say, in some ways, more dramatic. Whereas this is a bit more sort of, a bit happier, a bit childlike in places. It kind of even, you could even argue it has almost like a sound, almost like a psychedelic-y Pink Floyd Sgt. Pepper sound to it. Like it's got like a psychedelic childlike undertone throughout, a storytelling sort of feeling to it. But of course it's still a Brazilian record, and it's filled with just like incredible sort of classical sort of instrumentation as well as sort of Brazilian instrumentation. So it's that mix that you love from these Brazilian records. It's just an incredible record. It really is. And it's worth everyone's time. I mean, everyone should definitely go out and give it a go. Check it out on Discogs or whatever. Again, I cannot believe that you cannot get a repress of this yet, and that you can't even stream it. I mean, that is just shocking. At least I haven't tried streaming it. Maybe you can. But yeah, really happy to add this and have this in my collection. I'll show you the label. It's on the RCA label, RCA Victor. Did I tell you what year this came out? I can't remember, did I? 1975. 1975.
se abre solta ao sinal da rota, atravessa a noite de seda.
Thanks again for paying attention to me talking endlessly, aimlessly through some of my favorite records. I promise I will not do this that often. This channel is devoted mainly to these top 5 records I'm doing with the record stores. Thank you to all the record stores and record store owners who've allowed me to be in their space and interview them. But yeah, I'm gonna keep bringing those to you. I hope you like them. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye. Just kidding. That was a joke. I forgot. I wanted to include one more thing. A little extra. A little extra for you guys. I just wanted to say, again, thank you to the record stores I've been going to. Going to these record stores has allowed me the privilege to buy some records. And I wanted to show you quickly a few sort of standout ones that I got that I'm pretty happy about. And a shout out to some of these record stores. So first, three records I'm pretty excited about that I got from Thanks for Listening in Virginia. Weldon Irvine, original on Strata. It's a classic, right? I have it now, very happy with that. This gospel record was pretty awesome to see. I mean, I knew of the reissue, but seeing a real live sort of original in the shop was pretty awesome. Some kind of fun little disco funk sort of tunes on here, which I also love. So happy to get that. And then this one, I had saved somehow. I was already, really wanted this record, but I kind of forgot about it. So I guess I didn't really want it that bad, but I had it saved. I'd listened to it a few times. I had some tracks sort of starred, and then I saw it in the store, and I immediately was like, oh yeah, this record. And I've been listening to this again, even more, obviously, because now I own it. What's it called? Terra dos Pásaros con Taminho Horta y Orquestra Fantasma. Crazy. I don't know what that means. But yeah, dude, this record is so insane. I mean, again, shout out Brazil. Like, shout out for being the greatest country on earth when it comes to music. This record is so amazing. It sounds like Lo Borges, but like completely unknown. It's an insanely good record. So everyone go find that. That's your homework. And listen to it. So that was Thanks for Listening. A couple others I got. Let's do Warbler next. So I got some others from Warbler, but I couldn't find them. They're sort of lost in the abyss. I got some weirdo, as you might expect from Kurt, I got some weirdo sort of oddball private press jazz stuff, which I'm like obsessed with. Can't find them though. They're in there. However, Kurt did recommend this record in his video, and I've since tracked one down for myself, and I'm obsessed with it. Not just this one, there's also a second album, which I don't have, but this one is called Entourage. It's on Folkways, Entourage Music and Theater Ensemble. This is their first record, came out in, I can't remember, I'm just showing you essentially. This is some shit I really like. So on Folkways, there's a second one called Neptune Collection, which is also just so good. Anyway, thank you, Kurt, for showing me this record, because I'm obsessed. And then lastly, Greg from Flowering Spikes. Big shout out to him. I got several pretty nice records from him, and he gave me a friendly deal. So my man Greg, thank you. A couple, as we were talking about earlier, big fan of ECM, big fan of John Abercrombie. So I picked up a couple ECM records from him. He had a whole 2 big sections of ECM records only. So if you like ECM, go to Flowering Spikes. And I also picked up another little Strata East original. Whenever I see an original Strata East, I essentially have to buy it. But this is great. Jazz Contemporaries. Clifford Jordan's on here. I mean, Larry Ridley. I mean, you know the deal. Strata East, amazing. Happy to have it. And that was it. Just wanted to do that. Give you a little rundown of some of my favorite records from these stores that I've been going to. And I'm sure there'll be more to come. So yeah, all right, for real now. I am leaving. See ya.